Hey folks, I hope you and your families are doing okay, especially if you're from Central Texas, because it looks like things are only getting worse in that entire region.
In the last 5 hours, 18 more deaths have been confirmed, bringing the death toll at least to 50 at this hour, including 15 children.
Southeast of Kerr County, there's also chaos in Comal County. Heavy rains causing major flooding along River Road tonight.
The good news for Kerrville, the heaviest of that rain has pushed east, but we still have a big risk for flooding from Austin to San Antonio up to Fredericksburg.
Every time I turn on any local channel, I see and hear stories that immediately remind me of what we saw last year in towns like Asheville. There are videos of entire houses getting swept away by the water with people stuck inside them.
There's people in it. Oh my God, there's so many people in it.
Please tell me you're getting this on video.
Yeah, camp's over.
My brother called at 4:30. He stayed at HTX campground here in Kerrville. Said the RV was flooding and it was being swept away. He was able to get out, but his RV and his truck was swept downriver. My parents were staying at the HTX campground in one of the small tiny homes. By the time he got up to them, all the tiny homes were gone, including my parents. We're still looking for them. Their name is Robert Brake Sr. and Johnny Brake.
And this was a reality for a lot of people in these small towns because many of them couldn't leave even if they tried to.
Okay, my house is flooding. Anybody out there? I have my dad on hospice and I need to get him out of here. He's bedridden, he can't walk, he can hardly move, and look where the water is. So somebody please, we've called 911. It's bad over here. In front of the house, it's like a river. I mean, it's like a lake. They can't come look. We've lost our cars, everything. We've lived here for 30 years and this has never happened. So anybody, please, if you have a boat or something, I need help. I need to get my dad out of here. It's starting to smell like sewer in here.
Just imagine yourself in her position and you'll realize that someone has screwed up here big time. Why was there no warning? Of course, the officials are busy blaming each other.
But listen, everybody got the forecast from the National Weather Service, right? You all got it. You're all in media. You got that forecast. It did not predict the amount of rain that we saw. So using the National Weather Service data, which we were all looking at, they were warning 3 to 6 inches of rain.
Once again, I understand that flash flooding is always unpredictable, but how the hell could they not see the kind of devastation that was coming down those rivers? I mean, we're now finding out that the Guadalupe River rose 42 feet in just 3 hours, and the videos coming from other rivers show similar changes in water levels.
Oh my God, look at that spider.
We are apparently world leaders when it comes to weapons technology, and yet we can't predict if kids camping near a river are going to be safe or not. How does that make sense?
Judge, why weren't these camps evacuated yesterday? Texas Department of Emergency Management put out an all call and said there's going to be a problem. We knew there was going to be a problem. Why weren't these camps evacuated?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Now, what's worse is that the problems for people in these areas won't just end once the water level goes down. Unfortunately, their troubles have only just begun. After the hurricane, thousands of families in North Carolina and Tennessee were sleeping inside tents in freezing cold temperatures for months.
You take care of other countries better than you do your own people.
And meanwhile, we've got immigrants that just came in the country that are in $200 a night hotel rooms, and our own people are living in campers.
Good morning, y'all, from snowy western North Carolina. It's Sunday, January 12th, and I woke up ill as a hornet today. I'm mad all over. Y'all know we're in the midst of one of the worst natural disasters in American history. Our people are still suffering in ways you can't even imagine. Still. And this is 4 months post-Hurricane Helene. People are still living in tents and cars. Please tell me how that's okay. Somebody riddle me that. People that are in hotel rooms sponsored by FEMA that are fixing to get kicked out in a day or two, and they have nowhere to go. They're being kicked out, and we're covered up in snow and ice, and it's 16 degrees out there right now. And these are mostly women and children and elderly. Tax-paying citizens, mind you.
A lot of them are still trying to get back on their feet, and many of them still cannot afford to rebuild their homes because they were screwed by insurance companies and the local government didn't want to help.
You just shouldn't build back. And we've been able to convince certain communities and people that buyouts are better.
From everything I've seen, the situation might be just as bad in places like Kerr County. You see, like a lot of places in this country, the insurance rates have been getting really high in Texas.
Add this to the list of things costing you more. Insurance, specifically home insurance, and it's happening everywhere in Texas.
This says that home insurance premiums in Texas went up 21% in 2023, and they've continued to grow since.
I first started looking back in 2022, right after COVID. And back then it was only, I think it was going to be between $1,000 to $1,200 for the year.
Yes, sir.
And now it's looking like maybe $2,200 for the year.
Of course, these ridiculous rates have already pushed a lot of people out of the home insurance safety net. And as if that wasn't bad enough, many companies have canceled home insurance in Texas in the last year or so.
Progressive is the latest insurance company to stop offering homeowners coverage in Texas.
And they're not the only insurance company that's exiting the state this year.
4 companies have exited the Texas market in 2024 regarding property and casualty insurance. They may say, this is a particular area of the state where we've seen a lot of losses, so we're not going to grow as fast.
Now, to their credit, the Texas state government has tried to lower these insurance rates. They are even thinking about giving people money to cover the rise in their insurance premiums. They are also trying to stop these greedy insurers from raising the rates by over 10%, but of course, the companies are fighting this. As far as I can see, a lot of these survivors are going to be on their own when it comes to rebuilding their lives. However, the similarities to the North Carolina disaster don't just end here. I'm sure you remember how a lot of companies were fighting to build their lithium storage facilities in that area.
Happening now at 6, Gaston County homeowners are voicing their opinions to state regulators about a proposed lithium mine.
Businesses and farms are being destroyed by this mine's proposal, that our way of life is being destroyed. Everything we've worked for is being destroyed.
Well, it turns out Kerr County had also been opposing the construction of a battery storage facility in the area, and they were asking some fair questions. Since the battery plant can only provide power for a couple of hours, it won't protect the county from blackouts. It also raises the risk of a lithium fire, which is damn near impossible to put out. So why are they so eager to build it? But instead of addressing these concerns, the power companies were thinking about starting the construction. Of course, their work will be easier now because a lot of people might just move away from the area. As per usual, I dug a little deeper and noticed something very interesting, so I made a post about it. They want the land, so now Kerrville's underwater. Kerrville approves a $175 million gas power plant. Months later, biblical floods swallow the town. This isn't weather, it's war by water. Green light the project, drown the locals, build over the wreckage. Same playbook as Maui, same playbook as Asheville. Now it's Texas. They don't need to buy you out. They wash you out, then break ground. Now, yesterday I raised the issue of cloud seeding because I know that issue is on the minds of a lot of people. Well, yesterday Marjorie Taylor Greene announced that she's introducing introducing a bill in Congress that will stop anyone from putting any kind of material into our skies. In fact, it will be a felony. This bill is identical to what was passed in Florida a few months ago.
So this was done by Senator Ileana Garcia, and it protects Floridians from geoengineering and weather modification activities. Now, people have been coming up to me. We don't do that in any of our state agencies. There's never been any permit issued from the entire modern history of Florida. We're not engaged in any of that. But people have concerns about, because you have all these people that are saying, well, the way to fight climate change is to inject this stuff and block the sun and do all that. And I'm just like, no, okay? No, we're not doing that in Florida. We're the Sunshine State.
Of course, it's better late than never, but I'm not sure if she's going to be able to get it passed, since a lot of politicians get money from these cloud seeding companies. However, what's interesting here is that one of the companies that recently received a contract for cloud seeding in Texas happens to be Rainmaker. Now, the regular viewers of this channel will probably remember the CEO of Rainmaker, because I covered the speech he gave in Florida to stop that legislation.
And so Senator Garcia did bring this up briefly. Solar radiation management is a very new technology. It's not something that's been tested at length. NOAA has done some very initial experiments on its efficacy. It is attempting to reduce the amount of solar radiation that makes it down to the planet by injecting reflective aerosols into the upper atmosphere. Once you inject these aerosols, they stay in the stratosphere for years. They have effects on the entire climate. It is altogether different. The only similarity is that it has to do with the atmosphere. It has to do with the low atmosphere. It's a mechanism, or it's a tool that either freezes the water in existing clouds or condenses the droplets in existing clouds into bigger snowflakes or bigger droplets such that they fall onto your target watershed or farm. No ifs, ands, or buts. Mar-a-Lago exists here. Florida is a very consequential state within the United States. And if weather modification is banned here, that sets a precedent to deprive farmers in even more arid regions of the country from getting access to water from cloud seeding.
He also tried to pick a fight with me, calling me wrong and misinformed. If he was so fired up to continue protecting cloud seeding in Florida, you can be sure he and his friends are going to try to stop Marjorie Taylor Greene at any cost. Once again, we can argue about the pros and cons of cloud seeding. However, I'm sure everyone agrees that people should have the right to choose if they want any chemicals in their skies or not, and that's why I will always keep raising issues like this one. Now, before I talk about our next topic, let me remind you that these people living in Texas are going to need our help to get back on their feet. If you're in a position to do so, you can help by giving money to charities and local food banks. But you can also help by just making enough noise so that the people running this country are forced to provide aid ASAP. Now, next up, I want to share a clip with you. If you didn't notice it, those were all people lining up to donate plasma.
To gas, to groceries. The increase in prices is forcing people to find unique side hustles, like going under the needle and pushing out plasma.
If you did 9 donations in a month, they would give you a bonus. So that could be $75 on top of your regular donation.
Of course, this isn't surprising since the number of donors keeps getting higher in this country. And if you ask these donors, they'll tell you that they've got no choice but to sell plasma to pay their rent or even buy groceries.
I will be making frequency donuts twice a week. It's a big help, especially with gas and any little help with bills you need. It's a big help.
Now, I've made a whole video on this if you want to see how shady and disturbing the plasma industry can be. Thanks to our bad economy and increasing cost of living, these plasma clinics are now asking people to sell much more frequently than normal. For instance, Germany allows people to give plasma 50 times per year with intensive health checkups after every 4 visits. But in the land of the free, people can donate 104 times and clinical payments incentivize them to do so as frequently as possible. However, I wanted to share this video because it kind of reminded me how close close we are to a dystopian future when Americans have to sell their blood just to afford food. Now, before we end today's video, I want to share something which, for some reason, a lot of people don't know about. There are vans driving around your city right now that can literally see through your walls, and no one told you. They're called backscatter vans, and yes, they're real. These unmarked police vehicles are equipped with mobile X-ray scanners that can see through buildings, car doors, and even into your home from the street. You won't hear them, you won't know they're there, and they don't need a warrant. This isn't science fiction. These vans have been used in major cities like New York, Miami, and Los Angeles. The technology was originally designed for the military to detect explosives overseas. Now it's being used here on civilians with almost zero oversight. The vans fire bursts of ionizing radiation, the same kind used in TSA body scanners. But this radiation is mobile, more focused, and aimed straight through solid objects. No law requires police to inform the public. No study confirms it's safe. And there's no limit on who or what they scan. Privacy groups have warned for years this is warrantless surveillance on wheels. Your car, your home, your body, all exposed to invisible scans without your consent. And if it's already here, what's coming next? So you see, it's not just your phones, your Wi-Fi, and those CCTV cameras. They're also keeping an eye on you using X-rays because no one can stop them. We're going to end today's video right there. As always, I'm looking forward to reading your comments about all these stories, so feel free to share what you guys think with everyone in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.